There are specific levers in a business that take you to the next level.
Yeah.
And Pin Potential is one of those levers.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so excited to share a very special interview today. I have Tanya Williams here, who's going to be sharing a little bit about her story with Pinterest. Before we jump in, can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the work you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Megan. I am a historical women's fiction author, and I write emotional stories set in the past. And sort of the emotional resonance varies from gentle and heartwarming to gut-wrenching, and you're going to need a break after. So you're going to need tissues and a break.
I like that you're preparing us for that. In terms of your writing business, when did you start writing?
I've actually been writing in my head since I was about 5 years old.
Love that.
So the first stories weren't stellar, for sure. Actually, my first memory of creating a story is me crouching along an alfalfa field and telling the story to the crickets, that I wasn't allowed to go into the alfalfa field. It was like this patch of grass that sort of was parallel. And I would crouch along all the way until my mom would rap on the window. And you remember those old, like, not insulated windows, and the whole thing would go.
Yes. Yeah.
That was my warning that I'd gone too far, and I had to crouch back.
I love that. So she's probably like peeking out, looking at you. And when did you publish your first book?
That's probably about 9 or 10 years ago now.
Incredible. So you've been doing this a little while. And then, so tell us, what was going on in your business that you sort of discovered Pinterest? Like, as an author, as a writer, I just want to say that I think there are so many authors who are either new or even been doing it been writing a very long time. And marketing is this like sensitive place for a lot of creatives, I think. And I understand that. As an author yourself, when did you start to sort of like get interested in the idea of using Pinterest?
Probably about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it was slow. It was, I was dipping my toe into the water, not knowing anything, not knowing anything at all. What appeals to me is the evergreen aspect of it, as well as the ability to link. Because it's hard to say what you want to say in, 30 seconds.
Sure.
On a social post and still resonate with an audience. That appealed to me a lot. So I've been working at it, but not well until Pin Potential.
Yeah. Do you remember when you were sort of thought to yourself, like, I need help with Pinterest. I can't do this by myself anymore. Yeah.
That was probably I'd say about a year and a half ago.
Okay. And what did your Pinterest strategy, or sort of Pinterest efforts as an author look like before joining Pin Potential, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, sporadic.
Yeah.
Sporadic. And even though I follow the hub and spoke rule as a business.
In terms of your content strategy.
It wasn't the right hub. And so then the spokes were really not attached to anything. Yeah. So the last couple of years, I've really been narrowing in on figuring out, this is a funny thing to say because you'd think that most authors know what their brand is, but you don't. It's not just innate. And so we...
Well, I actually think that's quite common, especially as someone who's like naturally, you're intuitively gifted at writing or as a creative. I find that marketing often there's something missing or something doesn't click, right? And it feels very frustrating or overwhelming, or like something's not quite making sense.
Yeah, you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah. Okay. So that's how you were feeling before you joined. Were you marketing on other channels or exploring other ways to help get your books in front of more people, more eager readers or people who might be interested in what you're putting out into the world?
I have. I've actually spent literally the last 3 years dialing it in, and I took a course on positioning, and I'm quite involved with Facebook and Instagram, and I have been doing YouTube for probably 3 years, but I've upped that. Now it's a weekly thing and shorter videos and things like that. So it's all kind of coming together
Oh, I love to hear
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Which
And
is
sometimes it
good.
just takes that the right program to help it
Yes.
click. Now, before we get into sort of the meaty bits about Pin Potential, did you have any hesitations before you joined Pin Potential about, I think some of the typical
Mm,
things that run through people's heads, especially I find a lot of creatives will ask me like, will this work for my business? Do you think
yes.
Pinterest is a good option for an author or a creative like me? Or anything in sort of that, that category?
I definitely wondered if it would work for me
Mm-hmm.
as an author because it's, you don't produce books nearly as quickly
Yeah.
as other people produce products
Sure,
or,
sure.
online designs or anything like that. It takes a little bit longer. And so I did wonder about that,
Mm-hmm.
but I was reassured very quickly.
Okay,
And
cool. So what helped
it's,
you make that leap? Like if you were kind of
yeah,
like, I want this, I think it might work for me, but obviously
yeah,
with a lot of marketing, it is always that question. Even myself, I ask
yeah.
myself that, right? As someone who's been marketing a long time, I'm like, this looks amazing. What helped kind of like jump in so that you were like, yes, I'm committing to this, I'm
Yeah.
going to do the thing.
For me, for with Pin Potential, it was actually I did your challenge.
Okay,
And
wonderful.
that was, I was like, oh, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah,
But I also saw how much value you provide at a level where the only skin in the game was your time and your effort for the
yeah.
challenge. I embraced it. My notes are extensive, and I was like, no,
Love
I need
that.
to do this a little
Yeah.
slower.
Yeah, it is fast and furious. It is fast and furious. It's funny because it really is a crash course that could help
Yeah.
get you started. If
Oh, yeah.
somebody else was sort of in your same place or they were unsure
Yeah.
about if Pin Potential would work for them or if they're thinking about joining, if they're worried about like the timing or the
Yeah.
investment or will it work for my particular type of business? Is there anything that you would say or that you would advice you would give them that might help them make that decision?
I would actually encourage them to do the challenge. I
Yeah.
would, because I think it gives you that helicopter view, and
Yeah.
then going in, okay, this is something I'm going to commit to. This is a plan, but
Yeah.
it's not just for Pinterest. It touches everything. That's what's amazing about it. Like the connecting with people is just connecting with people. Understanding the baseline for that is huge. And I actually
Yeah.
was just on a author chat yesterday talking
Yeah.
about Pin Potential. So
Oh, awesome. Oh, I love to hear that.
so
Thank you.
it's super easy for me to recommend because
Yeah.
it's systematic and you go at
Yeah.
your own pace and
Yeah.
you it's like you say, done is better than perfect and you work your way there.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of us, it's like that can be hard to hear, but you just need that reassurance. Thank you, first off, for recommending it while you were speaking with colleagues and friends. That means the world to me. And really, the challenge isn't meant to be that. It's meant to be
Yeah.
that, like, almost like a test drive, right? You can test
Yeah.
drive what the course is like without having to actually jump in and
Yes.
commit because you're going to get a really good taste for me and my teachings and
Yes.
really what that immersive experience in Pin Potential is like. Talking about the course and what it was like for you, what was your favorite part or like a highlight of the course? And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people will say, like, is it a course? Is it a program? It's hard for me to commit to
It's
language because it is a course,
yeah.
but it's much more like a structured, like you said, like a systematic
Yeah.
program to help people with Pinterest.
Yeah. I think what it does is it teaches you how to set up a process of how
Mm-hmm.
to do your marketing as a whole. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, the biggest light bulb moment was, and actually I've had two because I just had one
Mm.
last week.
Okay.
Um, the first one was the blog.
Yeah.
I had spent the last, oh, I don't know, far too long recreating a website.
Right. We all do.
So
We're all been there. Yeah.
it's like this rabbit hole of technology.
Right.
It's
Right.
brutal. And but I had done it with the intent to get my blog back going because
Yeah.
I was using WordPress before and I wasn't happy with it to keep
Mm.
going. I didn't go into it. And so
Right.
my blog suffered.
Okay.
And the blog writing is actually enjoyable. So
Love
doing
to hear that.
that.
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise, you're a writer. But I would say that that's not always true, right? That even
Yeah.
if, again, as a writer or something I hear from highly creative people is like, I'm a writer. I don't know what to put on a blog. I don't know what I should be
Yeah.
talking about there to help, and we've had conversations like
That's
that
it.
too, that sometimes you're so deeply in your own
Yep.
business. It's such a common experience, I think, for business owners that we're so deep in our own businesses.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like, in terms of, and I'm not sure if you've taken other courses or had other coaching experiences, would you say that like the experience in Pin Potential, was there anything that was sort of different from other online courses or coaching or programs or that were different than past experiences?
I would definitely say that how much you show up and how much you
Mm,
give is a highlight. It makes me, I don't know if it makes everybody, but it makes me want to, do better and show
yeah.
up and be there. And it makes me accountable, but not in a ruler on the
Stressed out.
knuckles kind of
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I want to show up because I learn something every single time. There is
Oh,
not
I love
one
that.
call that I haven't learned
Yeah.
something. And even if I haven't participated in it, somebody
Yeah.
else asks a question and I learn
Right.
it.
We
I
learn
love
so
that.
much from other people's questions. When I
Yes.
love hearing that. Another member whom I interviewed named Sage said that when she participated in the challenge, it was the same, very similar experience. She loved it. She loved what she learned. And she was a little bit worried that based on the numbers of people who take the challenge or show up to when I do free events, Sage was a little bit concerned. Like, when I come to calls, am I going to actually be able to ask Megan questions?
Oh,
Am I going to be able to hear? And like, I think, like, right?
yeah.
You're nodding your head that when we do calls and when you show up, I really do make a point of staying until we,
Yes.
unless there's exceptional circumstances that every
Sure.
question gets answered. We make replays available. You can submit your
Yes.
questions if you're on the road or busy. And there has been a rare occasion where I've had to scoot out for an appointment and then I can
Sure.
send Loom videos or answer questions in our Facebook community. If you had to pick one thing in Pin Potential, to sort of spotlight for future students, like maybe if I was a fly in the wall on yesterday's call, which I would love to be, of course, like, it's funny because it's like one of those things that I'm embarrassed, but I also would love to know because I'm
What
so
did we
deeply,
say?
yeah, I'm so deeply in my own business that sometimes I'm like, and you can't be shy about asking people to share. If you had to shine a spotlight on one thing, I know you talked about like it's Pinterest, but it's so much more.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you could sort of spotlight for people that you want them to know about Pin Potential?
I think that it's your launch pad. If you are kind of struggling with what do you do now? What's your next
Yeah.
step? In a sea of millions of people on social media, how do
Mm,
you get your message across to your ideal audience?
mm-hmm.
And that is huge. And once you
Yeah.
figure out who your ideal audience is and what connects you to them, that is your launch pad to everything else you do.
I agree. Yeah. I love
It's
it. Yeah. That is just it, right?
amazing.
And it's constantly something like, you even suggested, like, it will keep evolving. But once it
Yeah.
begins to sort of click into place,
Yeah.
it's like all the doors fly open for you in terms of your marketing and your business. Now,
Yeah.
knowing all those wonderful things, do you have any specific results for your own business that you're really proud of coming out of Pin Potential? Have you been able to make some progress and movement? Now, I know it's only been a short period of time, so it's still early days,
Yeah.
but do you have any results or wins that you can share from your Pinterest strategy or other things you've learned in Pin Potential?
Absolutely. The biggest win actually came on Monday, or
Okay.
actually on Sunday night, early in the morning.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
supposed to be sleeping.
Right.
It occurred to me that centering everything I do around a blog post
Mm,
is my key to filling out my social media calendar in general and
mm-hmm.
also doing all the other things. And so
Mm,
what was fascinating was I realized that because I didn't quite have it all together yet. And so I realized that
yeah.
if I make Monday my write your blog post day and organize your pins, and then all of a sudden I go, wait, but now I have Instagram and Facebook
Yeah.
content. And
Yeah.
oh, wait, now I could do
Yeah.
this for a
Wait, this is a
short.
plan. This is a social media and marketing plan all falling into place.
And that was all, it was like all came
Yeah.
together. And I was like, oh, okay. Full disclosure, I'm still working my way through the course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've come this far and
In
have,
such a short period of time.
that's
Yeah.
it. And I was grasping at little ideas here and there. And so now I feel
Yeah.
like I have, okay, I'm process oriented, so I like having a plan.
Yeah, sure. Well, and it
So
sounds like things feel more achievable now because it makes sense,
totally.
right? You
Yeah,
just said it. Like you had the bits and pieces, you had the ingredients for a recipe, but no recipe card or recipe to follow. And now it
exactly.
feels like you've been able to construct
Oh
an
yeah.
achievable plan that can help you sort of, it's all
It's
snapping into place.
so much fun.
And what do you like? It sounds like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like in terms of like, mindset or shifts in terms of your confidence, I've heard you
Oh,
mention positioning, your audience, thinking about your content and centering it around one thing and then it affecting. Do you
yes.
feel more confident? Do you feel like this is sort of like easier for you going
Oh,
forward?
definitely. 100%. 100%. I would literally didn't know how to judge what was working and what wasn't working. And
In
that's,
terms of the analytics, like website
yeah,
traffic, subscribers,
ex-
audience, all that good stuff.
exactly.
Okay.
What's fascinating for me is even though I'm, focused on doing everything for Pinterest and driving that traffic from Pinterest, the trickle effect is my Instagram account's growing.
Yay!
And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah. You're
well,
like the
there's
second
people.
or
They came
third
back.
person, yeah, just in the last week or two. Well, what I would say is, and this is like where I'm not always transparent, but as a teacher or coach, what I'm looking to do is it starts with Pinterest, and then we have this sort of like the trickle down effect, like it seeps into everything else, that when we
Yeah,
focus our attention on these core principles of showing up and being valuable and practical, it does have this sort of like, oh wait a sec, like we just had another member say that they were taking part in one of our challenges, created content for Pinterest, and they decided on a whim to share it to Instagram, and then a longtime follower was like, oh, I saw your reel and it reminded me, I finally pulled the trigger and bought a piece of original art. And she wouldn't have created that video to post to Instagram if she hadn't been doing our implementation challenge. And so it does really, I
exactly.
think it helps you kind of reorient and get sort of focused on how to show up in a way that feels comfortable and sustainable. Well, I'm very excited. I do know you share just in terms of like, talking about analytics and data. So you've seen an
Yes.
increase in your website
Yeah,
traffic. And you sounds like you've got now a more consistent approach to your content marketing, which I'm
definitely.
sure will continue to
Yeah.
see lots of other growth. How would you describe your overall experience in Pin Potential?
I think that it has been one of those levers. I've been a business owner before I was an author as well.
Mm,
And there are specific levers in a business that take you to the next level.
yeah,
And Pin Potential is one of those levers. And
awesome.
because it makes you really ask those tough questions. And if you do the work, you get the results. The beauty of it is we have Megan's support the whole time. So
Yeah.
that's,
And that's so important to me as a teacher, right? Like, I think, like, whether you're an author or an artist, or you sell physical products, or you are a business coach or entrepreneur like me, like, we're always going to have those questions. And actually, I'd love to say that, like, I think some of why it was so valuable for you is because you came to calls with sort of an open mind. You asked questions about your own unique business model, and you would say, like, I've been thinking about this thing and I feel a little bit stuck on this
yeah.
idea, and we could work through it, and then you go away and think about it because
Yes.
I would love to fly in and be in your house and help you
Oh, I would
intensively,
love
but
that too.
right? Like it would be so fun. But
Yes.
as an educator, it's like, how do I have that impact on your overall
Yeah.
marketing and your growth in the format that we have? Well, it's just incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. Do you have any last little, like, encouragement about anyone who's thinking about joining? Maybe they're an author, maybe they're in another niche, but your story really resonates with them. Is there anything that you would sort of share with them that might help them make that decision about Pinterest and Pin Potential?
I definitely think they should do your challenge because I think that gives you a overall view into what you're in for. The challenge can be a lot and overwhelming, but know that with Pin Potential, you get to take it at your own pace and learn as you go. And it's a great way to really get a handle on your whole business. It's not just Pinterest. It's not just that
Yeah.
one aspect. Pinterest becomes this grounding rod for everything else,
Oh, I
but
love
only
that.
because of bin potential. I was lost without it. So
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much. If people are interested in learning about your writing, about your books, where's the best place for people to check out your books and the work that you do, Tanya?
probably my website at
Okay.
tanyaewilliams.com.
Wonderful. Well, we'll share that in the notes as well. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining me today. I really love hearing your perspective, and I'm just so grateful. I feel like, I always say this, I think I attract the best students, and you're just such a shining star in the cohort of somebody who came to calls, who did the work, and seeing it click and everything come together for you. And really, like, these are just like, we're sowing seeds that I have no doubts that over the next 6 months, the next year, the next few years, it's just going to continue to really double down for you and grow exponentially. And I'll be in the background cheering for you, watching you grow. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your kind words with us today.
Thanks for having me.